Hi everyone, thanks for joining this yoga practice to celebrate the pink full moon in the sign of Libra. The pink moon symbolises the transition to spring as the flowers begin to bloom and transform the way we see the world, like rose-tinted glasses. This is the first full moon to follow Ostara, or the spring equinox, and it's a time of balance as the shift between winter and summer reaches that halfway point. Amplified by the balancing qualities of Libra, we will inspire these feelings of balance and transformation in our yoga practice. We'll remain balanced in the body to feel the transformation take place within. Some crystals for this practice could include rose quartz or moonstone, and some essential oils could include floral scents such as rose, lavender, or chamomile. When you're ready, let's begin. Hi everyone, thank you all so much for joining for this yoga practice to celebrate the pink full moon. Hopefully finding a little bit of that joyful, beautiful energy in this practice. You can imagine beautiful pink cherry blossoms and that beautiful spring feeling in this practice as we try to find balance, equilibrium, finding that balance between the energy, the effort, the relaxation, the calming, embodying that Libra energy of finding balance as we have now passed the halfway position between winter and summer. So we're going to actually start with a seated cat-cow today. So this can be done on your knees or cross legs. And we're going to just bring either our hands to our thighs or hands to our knees. And as we inhale, we're going to extend the spine, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. You may even want to bring your belly slightly forwards as you lift your gaze up. And then as we exhale, we round the spine, seated cat, bringing the chin towards the collarbone. And we're going to do this a few more times at your own pace. You can add in the shoulders, as I said, the hips a little bit, as much as feels good to you. But really, more importantly than the posture itself, is the connection of noticing how it feels as you breathe. You may notice that as you inhale, there's this sense of uplifting, of opening, of joy. And as you exhale, there's this sense of grounding, of calming, of relaxation as you bring your chin to your chest. And this is the power we hold of balance. We often think of energy, effort, and relaxation as things that happen to us passively. But only when we start to move the body, move the breath in ways that suit us, can we actually really start to connect to what it means to find balance ourselves and not just be passive bystanders in this practice. The next time you inhale, bring yourself back to a neutral position, elongating the spine, and then you're going to roll over your shins and bring yourself into a tabletop position. And we're going to find a balancing table. And from this position, we're going to bring the right arm alongside the right ear. You want your left wrist under your left shoulder, and then you have the option to bring your left leg back. And you're going to find this strength. Even here, you're going to notice balance, you're going to notice effort, especially as you keep your belly tucked in. Option to move into tiger's pose, bending your left knee, reaching your right hand back towards your left ankle or towards the left foot. From a more passive position, you can just hug that heel in, finding a slight grounding as you root through the left hand. Or for a more energizing position, you can inhale, lift your chin, lift your chest, kick by lifting and engaging your left glute to lift your left toes up towards the ceiling. Breathing for 3, 2, notice your breath shallow, 1. Bring your right hand under your right shoulder, bring your left toes back, and then bring your left knee underneath your left hip. Just take a breath here. Slight grounding, exhale. Right wrist under right shoulder, left arm alongside your left ear, pinky finger spins down to the floor. Option to stay there or bring your right leg all the way back, right toes reaching back. Feel the strength in your glute, your hamstring, feel the power in this pose. Then option, bring your left hand around towards your right ankle, your foot, either hugging that heel in for a stretch through the quadricep, it might feel quite nice. Or as you inhale, lift your chin, lift your chest, squeeze your right glute for tiger's pose. A back bend, an uplifting and energizing posture. Breathing in. Breathing out. One last inhale. And as you exhale, gently release your left hand to the floor, right leg back and underneath your hip. Inhaling. And then as you exhale, child's pose. So bringing your hips to your heels, relax your forehead down to the floor or make a little pillow with your hands. And once again, this is a perfect example of how the body and the breath influence in ways we feel. Notice how it feels as you breathe deeper here in your child's pose, as you find more relaxation. Notice the energetic shift in comparison with that tiger's pose, where everything is lifted, everything is opened, and now everything is closed, everything is relaxed. We find balance. One last deep breath in, and exhale fully. Now, as we inhale, bring those hands forward. We're going to make our way to a downward facing dog. So wrist, shoulder width, feet, hips width, fingers spread nice and wide. You can, as always, start with a bend to your knees, pedal out those heels. Maybe today, as we're finding balance, we want to really bend your right knee, press your left heel back. Notice how you feel through the back of your left leg, and then bend your left knee, press your right heel back. Notice how you feel through the back of the right leg. We often think of ourselves as symmetrical beings, and sometimes through yoga that highlights that it is completely not true. Maybe pressing both heels back. What's more important than finding balance through both sides is noticing the imbalance in between sides. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's important that we're aware of it. Breathing in, breathing out. Look to the space between your hands. Make your way to a ragdoll. Knees bent, relaxing your upper body over your lower body. Once again, this is noticing the passive quality, noticing this relaxing quality. Feeling the earth under your feet, under your toes, noticing the distribution of weight through the feet, noticing the tension through the back line of the body. Release your elbows, keep the bend in the knees, very gently, one vertebrae at a time. Roll yourself up. Hips over heels, heart over your hips. And when you get to the top, take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the nose or through the mouth. Breathing deep. Now this next part is going to challenge your balance. Of course, being a Libra practice, we're going to still though continue to find a little bit of joy, a little bit of beauty in this motion. So we're going to start with a hand to foot pose. We're going to transition potentially into a standing bow with the option then for a warrior 3 or an airplane pose. Now this is quite a lot. So especially if you're not warmed up properly, you're going to want to take this down and you're going to want to modify. You may want to actually rest in between the individual postures as well. So starting with hand to foot pose, you're going to root through your left leg. As you inhale, lift through your right leg. Now the first option, especially if you have hamstring pain or just feeling a bit tight in the hamstrings today, you're going to just want to bring your knee towards your chest, towards your shoulder, and you can just hug your shin in, finding balance here. You could also use a wall. If this feels good, you can take your peace fingers of your right hand between your big and second toe, doing the same movement here, finding a little bit of length here through the spine. Option, eventually, maybe you want to charge that heel away, flexing those toes back. Do your best to keep your shoulders over your hips and your left leg towards straight. We're going to be breathing here for another long inhalation. Exhale fully. Then bend your right knee. See if you can keep it lifted as you bend it backwards now. Then reach your right hand for the inside of the arch, the inside of the ankle of the right foot. So your thumb is facing up. Exhale here. Inhale, maybe we want to reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Engage your right glute, lift your right knee back, keep it in line with your hip as you lift your chin, your chest, your gaze up towards the ceiling. You can stay with this, or you can start to roll the pelvis forward over the head of the left femur, creating this height, reaching those right toes up and back. For 3, 2, 1. If you have shoulder pain, come back up to standing, or back pain. Otherwise, gently release that right leg. See if you can reach your right arm alongside your right ear for warrior 3, turning your gaze towards the front edge of your yoga mat, or arms alongside your body, palms facing down. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale, see if you can come back up. Don't worry if you lose it. And then exhale, mountain pose. You should feel fire building in your left leg, if not already completely burnt your left leg, but breathe here. Notice the energy, the lift. And in these moments, notice the stillness. Notice the grounding.
switching sides. Now bear in mind this side may feel completely different than the opposite side, so we want to take it really gently. As we inhale, we're going to lift the left leg in towards your chest, knee towards your shoulder, interlace fingers, or once again, right hand to right waist, left peace fingers towards your left big toe. Do your best to keep your shoulders over your hips, your right leg straight. Breathing in. Option as you exhale, charge that heel away. And it may not work all the way straight, it's just heading in that direction. Keep your gaze forwards. You can use a wall for 3, 2, 1. Bend your knee again. See if you can release those toes gently. Draw your left knee back and then flip the grip to bring your left hand to the inside of the foot. Thumb faces up, knees draw together, exhale. Inhale, reach your right arm up. You can stay here or engage your left glute, left hamstring. Lift your chin, lift your chest, lift your gaze. This is a back bend. And then finally, you can start to roll the pelvis forward over the head of the right femur. Keep your gaze forwards. 5, breathing through the nose. 3, 2, 1. Any lower back or shoulder pain, come up to standing first. Otherwise, release your left leg. See if you can bring your left arm alongside your left ear for warrior 3. It's okay to bend your knee. Also okay to bring your arms back and alongside your body. For 3, breathing through the nose. 2, 1. See if you can come up through standing. Don't worry if you lose it. And exhale, mountain pose. Take a breath. Feel your heart rate. Exhale fully. And exhale. Good, relax. So moving into a squat pose with the option to add in a crow pose to find even more balance. So from this position, we're going to bring our feet wide, mat width distance, toes off the mat, heels on the mat. And then from here, we're hopefully all familiar with garland pose, thumbs to sternum, relaxing, sitting those hips low. Heels may lift, that's absolutely fine. You can always keep your hands to the floor, or you could place blocks underneath your sit bones or underneath your heels. Now, if you're wanting to embrace the grounding quality of this balance practice, stay here. This is fantastic. Also, if you have wrist injuries, stay here. If you want to work on a little bit of crow pose, we're going to do 2 rounds. First round, this may be just an opportunity to feel into the pose, to get used to the idea of finding balance. Second round, you can lift up into your crow pose if you'd like, or maybe you want to do 2 full rounds of crow pose. But this is just your chance to kind of play around with that sense of balance once again. So I'm going to turn so you can kind of see me a little bit easier. From your garland pose, you want to bring your hands to the floor, shoulder width apart, so they're in front of you, fingers are spread nice and wide. And from here, we're going to lift the hips up, so we're kind of almost halfway down. Your torso is kind of parallel to the floor here. And you're just going to bring your knees towards your armpits, and you're going to shift the weight forward. So your knees are probably somewhere along the upper arm, the humerus. And we're going to shift the weight into the toes, just so you can start to feel the weight shifting into the hands and then back into the heels. We'll just do this a couple more times. We're really focusing on that knee or that shin to upper arm connection. That's what we need here in our crow pose. And then you can sink low, take a little rest, give your wrists a little rest. If you're noticing strain in your wrists, you're going to skip the second one. You can stay here, or you can make a seated position. Otherwise, if you want to try crow pose, there's a couple of options. And for beginners, I'm going to recommend that you keep your feet wide, you keep your knees where they are, and from this position, shift the weight forward, but this time, lift 1 foot up, switch, lift 2 feet up, maybe both feet eventually. And if you've been doing this a while, bring your big toes to touch, keep your hands in the same position, but you're actually going to bring your knees higher up to the armpits, and if possible, we're going to start to bring the heels a little bit closer towards the sit bones. Keep the gaze forwards, towards just in front of your hands. For 3, breathing, 2, and 1. Relax, take a nice full breath, release your wrists. If you need to make your way to standing first, come up to standing. Otherwise, we're just going to make our way to a seat from here, using your hands in front or behind to support you. And we're going to come into a variation of bound angle, maybe kind of a variation of tortoise, of Kurmasana as well. So we're going to bend the knees, but we're not going to hug them in super tight today. So we actually want about 2 feet between our heels and our pelvis. kind of creating this diamond shape with the legs. And from here, you can either just tent your fingers to the outside of the hips or around your shins, or as long as there's no pain in your shoulders as you do this, or your low back, you can wrap your arms around the backs of your shins, around the outsides of your calves. Use your chin, your chest, and breathe as you lengthen the spine. And you may want to start folding forwards gently as you exhale once again, as long as there's no back pain. And you can imagine your legs, your hips, like the blossoms, like the cherry blossoms on the trees, slowly beginning to awaken, to open. But at the same time, we're connected to that grounding energy, that calming energy. Sometimes this posture is actually called sleeping tortoise. And that's how I want you to feel, like a sleeping tortoise. Heavy, grounding. We find balance once again. And then very gently unthread your arms if they were threaded through. Bring yourself all the way back up. And then just bring your knees to center and then bring your legs wide. So they don't have to be super wide. We're not going for sort of a middle splits or anything like that. Just sometimes nice to take these wide leg forward folds just to explore again that sense of mobility through the hips, that opening, blossoming of the hips in a way, but also embracing that grounding energy. So you can bring your hands forward behind your hips. You could even take your peace fingers towards your big toes, but if that starts to create a lot of effort or lift, I want you to stop that. We want to focus more on the grounding qualities. So breathing in, and then as we exhale, maybe we start to fold forwards, maybe you come down onto your forearms. If there's space, you could even relax your head down to the block or to the earth. But we want to let go of effort in this pose. If you feel like your abs, your belly is having to switch on in order to bring yourself forward here, I want you to ease off, focus more on the length of the spine over the depth of the fold. As we inhale, walk those hands back up. Guide your knees back through center very, very gently. And then we're going to make our way into either a seated position, or if you prefer, you can do this laying down on your back, although it's a little bit more tricky to kind of find the hand positioning from there. We're going to take Nadi shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. This is the perfect way to find balance. So we're balancing the sun energy, the moon energy. For anyone that's interested, the solar energy on the right side is breathing in through the right nostril. You'll feel that more uplifting energy. And the opposite is true when you breathe through the left nostril. This is the moon energy, the grounding energy. So if you ever want to find balance through this, say you're feeling over-energized, over sun, too much sun, you could breathe in through the left nostril, out through the right. So you're taking in that moon energy and breathing out the opposite side. Opposite is also true, breathing in through the right, getting that sun energy, breathing out through the left will help to clear that heaviness and that relaxation. We're actually looking to balance both today. So what we're going to be doing is breathing in through one side, closing off the nostril, then breathing out the opposite, then breathing through that nostril and breathing back out through the first one again. So positioning through the hands, take your index and middle finger towards the root of your thumb, or index and middle finger towards your third eye center on your right hand. So let me demonstrate that for you. Use your left hand underneath your elbow for more support, and you're going to use your ring finger to close off one nostril and your thumb to close off the other. So we're just going to start by closing off the right nostril, closing off your eyes or softening your gaze. Then when you're ready, breathing in through the left for 2, 3, 4, close off the left, exhale through the right, 2, 3, 4, inhale right, 2, 3, 4, exhale left, 2, 3, 4, inhale left, 2, 3, 4, exhale right, 2, 3, 4, inhale right, 2, 3, 4, exhale left, 2, 3, 4, inhale left, 2, 3, 4, exhale right, 2, 3, 4. Inhale right. 2, 3, 4. Exhale left. 2, 3, 4. And just release your hands, release your mudra, release your breath, finding natural rhythms of breathing. And from here, you're going to make your way into your rest position. So Shavasana, bringing your head towards the back of your mat, your feet out long, relaxing your arms alongside your body. Or if you prefer, you can take a seated meditation, a seated breath work, anything really that enables you to find more grounding. So whatever position you're in, just let your shoulders relax. Let go of the control, the exertion of your breath. Notice how you feel physically through the body, noticing if we're holding on to any tension, resistance, pain. And if possible, can we soften? Can we relax those spaces? Notice how we feel intrinsically, energetically, whether there's a sense of grounding, the sense of heaviness, or the sense of fire, of motivation, somewhere in between. And then notice how you feel through the thoughts, through the mind. Notice the filter through which you see the world in this moment. And knowing that there's no right or wrong, without this variation, we wouldn't have the beautiful mosaic, the beautiful spectrum of people that make up our wonderful world. But just becoming familiar with how we feel is more important than what we feel. So just noticing what rises, what releases, without trying to control or resist. As we transition deeper into the spring season, you may notice fluctuations of energy. As with any transition, sometimes the body and the mind, they struggle to keep up with each other. And so just notice when this is happening. Remind yourself you do have some ability to influence the sensations that you feel, simply by breathing, simply by being. But only when we become conscious of these imbalances can we start to look to solutions to find balance again. So as you transition through this pink full moon in Libra, finding balance and finding the beauty as the world around you starts to unfold and to reawaken, I really truly do hope that you find balance, however that looks to you. And I'm wishing you all the best during this full moon. Thank you all so much for joining me. Namaste.